What if the only thing standing between you and the life you actually want isn't money, opportunity, or even talent, but the story you tell yourself about who you are? We've all heard it. Your thoughts shape your reality. But let's be honest. Why do so many of us stay stuck even when we know we're capable of more? Stick with me, because by the end of this story, you might just see yourself differently. Once, in the bustling halls of a busy train station, there lived a man the world simply called a beggar. Day after day, he sat on the cold concrete, cup in hand, watching hundreds of lives rush past him. He didn't ask for luxury, just enough to survive, until one afternoon, a man in a tailored coat stepped onto the platform. He moved like someone who owned his time, his energy, his life. The beggar saw his chance. He approached, hand out, hoping for a handful of change. But instead of dropping a coin, the businessman stopped. He looked him in the eye and asked, gently but firmly, "Do you always just take? Have you ever given anything back?" The question hit like a physical weight. The beggar stammered, "I'm just a beggar. I have nothing to give." The businessman nodded slowly. "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you're asking for pity, not partnership. I don't give without exchange. I trade value for value. If you bring me nothing, I have nothing to give you either." And with that, he boarded the train, left him standing there. For the first time in years, the beggar didn't hear judgment. He heard truth. That night, he lay awake. What can I actually offer? 2 days passed. He didn't ask for a single dime. On the third day, sitting by the tracks, he noticed wildflowers pushing through the cracks in the concrete, bright, unbroken, alive. And something inside him shifted. What if, instead of just asking, I offered something back? He carefully gathered a handful. When a traveler dropped a coin, he smiled and handed them a bloom. Not as charity, as an exchange. People didn't just take his money and walk away. They paused, they smiled, some even said thank you. And something remarkable happened. The coins kept coming, but only as long as the flowers lasted. When he ran out, the generosity dried up. He finally understood. People don't give out of guilt. They give when they feel seen, when there's value exchanged. Days later, the businessman returned. This time, the beggar didn't reach out with an empty hand. He held out a flower. "Today, I have something to give." The businessman smiled, paid, and took it. "You've finally learned the secret of exchange. You're no longer a beggar. You're a businessman." The train pulled away, but the words stayed. A businessman. Not because of his bank account, because of his mindset. He stopped waiting for pity. He started building value. He left the platform that day and never returned as the man who once sat there with his head down. 6 months later, 2 men in sharp suits crossed paths in that same station. One recognized the other. "Wait, aren't you the guy I used to give flowers to?" The man laughed. "I used to be the beggar. Now I run a flower distribution company. I'm heading to expand to 3 new states." The businessman was stunned. "What changed?" The flower seller met his eyes. "You didn't give me money. You gave me a mirror. You showed me I was never broken. I was just asleep. Once I saw myself as someone who could give, the world finally started giving back." Here's the quiet truth. Your life doesn't expand until your identity does. Stop asking the world what it can give you. Start asking yourself what you can bring to it. Because when your story changes, your life follows. If this hit home, hit like. Drop your biggest takeaway in the comments and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. I'll see you in the next one.